How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about Ben Shapiro walking out of a BBC interview with Andrew Neil. Now, this has gotten a lot of attention all over the internet. It's kind of gone viral at this point. People are trying to say, ha, look at Ben Shapiro. He's a snowflake. He couldn't handle the heat, this, that, and the third. We're going to get into all that, but first, we got to see the clip in question. Now, there is a full 10-minute interview, and I'll place that in the description box so you're able to see the entire thing in context. But for now, I'll play about 2 minutes or so of the actual clip so you get a general gist of what's going on. You see the kind of questioning that was going on and also Ben Shapiro's response. Then you'll see the moment when he walks out. So after we get done with that, I'll talk about what was said in the clip. I'll talk about Ben Shapiro, Andrew Neil, give you my 2 cents. Then I wrap it on up with a nice bow on top. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Some of the ideas that are popular in your side of politics would seem to take us back to the Dark Ages, Georgia, new abortion laws, which you are much in favor of, that a woman who miscarries could get 30 years. A Georgian woman who travels to another state for an abortion procedure could get 10 years. These are extreme hard policies.
Well, okay, a couple of things. One, I'm not sure. I mean, frankly, I don't know whether are you an objective journalist or are you an opinion journalist?
I'm a journalist that asks questions. Okay,
so you're a supposedly objective journalist calling policies with which you disagree barbaric and suggesting only one side of the political aisle has ideas. So I just want to point out that I wish you would at least be honest in your own biases.
Mr. Shapiro, I know that broadcasting in America is now so polarized that on one program you only have the left and another one you just have the right. My job is to question those who have strong views and put an alternative to them.
Would you suggest that a late-term abortion is brutal?
I'm not taking a view on this issue. I'm asking you the questions.
You're lecturing me on Judeo-Christian culture after you call the pro-life position barbaric?
I just asked you a question.
And I asked you a question. You failed to answer a single one of mine. Frankly, I find this whole thing a waste of time. If you want to read the book and critique the book, why don't you read and critique the book? If you want to critique me, you can think whatever you want of me.
Why don't you
frankly,
just try and
I don't care. I don't frankly give a damn what you think of me since I've never heard of you.
And I've never heard of you until I briefed myself for this. But that's not the issue. You have a new book out.
Then why the hell are you interviewing me, sir?
It's an interesting book. But my point is, your book claims that
society... Well, it'd be nice if you would quote it from time to time.
Your book is... Well, actually, I've done so several times, and I'm about to do so again, if you would let me just finish the question. Your book claims that society is turning its back on Judeo-Christian values.
Yeah,
what are those values? What are the values it's turning its back on?
I'm not inclined to continue an interview with a person as badly motivated as you as an interviewer. So I think we're done here. I appreciate your time, sir.
All right. Well, thank you for your time and for showing that anger is not part of American political discourse. Now, Mr. Shapiro, we'll say goodbye.
Okay, so you see that. You see what's going on. Now, first of all, I understand why Ben Shapiro got irritated and left. I totally get it, 100%. You're thinking you're going to go on BBC. It's going to be a professional interview. They're going to ask you questions about whatever you got coming out, ask you about your show, if you got a book or whatever it is. Or they may ask you about a specific topic that's happening right now in America. Oh, what about the election? What about the midterms? What about this? What about that? You're not thinking it's going to be antagonistic in nature, but Andrew Neil does that. That's what his job is. That's pretty much his whole shtick, is being the antagonizer. When you look at it from the outside, you may think that Andrew Neil is just a big-time liberal, which he probably is, a big-time liberal, and he hates conservatives, but that might not be the case. I've seen a different interview from him when he was doing the same thing to a Green Party person over there in UK.
One of your flagship policies is for the state to give every adult a basic weekly income of at least £72, so-called citizens' income, whether they need it or not, at a cost of up to £280 billion. How would you pay for that?
Well, first of all, it's worth saying that's a gross cost. So about half of the cost of that would come from replacing existing benefits and, of course, reducing administration costs.
Give me an example of what a benefit would replace.
Job seekers allowance.
Well, how much does that save?
That's what the total figure comes together. But
hold on, the job seekers allowance only costs $3 billion.
Yeah.
So you're
But
a long way off 280.
But it costs a massive amount to administer.
Even so. If more of us are doing unpaid work, we won't be paying tax. So you're going to reduce the tax base in the country.
So it's hard for me to really get on him about his personal affiliation with politics. It's more about him being antagonistic. Now, I've had interviews with guys over in UK, and I kind of know how they operate. I've not had anybody really go in depth for a full interview like Andrew Neil did with Ben Shapiro or anyone else, but I have had little things said. I'm like, well, Mr. Logan, you don't really believe that, do you? You know, that kind of stuff. You know, they do that, but it's not really like they're trying to attack you or trying to debate you. It's just kind of like how they interview. And the way you respond is just the way you respond to any other interview. You respond to a question framed in a negative way the same way you would respond if it was framed in a positive way. Just respond with the truth. Respond with facts. And they may try to dig up dirt on you and throw it in your face, but you got to respond with facts. That's the same way that anybody would do. When you're online, a lot of these trolls do that. They'll say, hey, look at this clip of you. You look real stupid in this clip. What about this? That's how they do. But you got to be able to respond the same way you respond to everybody else, which is in a calm way. If they're not trying to hear you, like if they ask you that and you're responding and then they cut you off, they ain't trying to hear your answer, then that's not really a serious interview. However, if they ask you the question and you respond and they allow you to respond, okay, now you got a serious interview. Your answers to the questions will be almost as important as the interviewer. Now, some may not look past what the interviewer said. They may see what Andrew New was saying, talking about, oh, you said Arabs are dirty, they're living in open sewage or whatever. They may just look at that and be like, oh, I didn't know that about Ben Shapiro. You're a racist. You're a bigot. You're a hater. You are a white supremacist, even though he's Jewish, but that's a different story. They may say all those things, but it doesn't even really matter. People that want to learn more about you, Ben Shapiro, and learn why they should kind of be on your side or support you are now hearing a reason why. They heard the opposite. Now they hear yours. They're hearing from both sides. It's not an echo chamber. And some people, well, many of us, I think, appreciate that. So that was the whole idea of the interview. Now, Ben Shapiro did come out and apologize. He was like, well, I'm sorry. I didn't know it was a antagonistic interview on purpose, and that was his style. I thought he was just being a liberal. And, you know, that's pretty much what it was. Like I've said, I've gotten this before from people. Sometimes they're not serious when they do it. So that's why I understand, like I said in the beginning, why he walked out. Because sometimes he's just trying to debate you and trying to shout at you and not really trying to get you to, you know, really answer the question. They're trying to embarrass you, and they're trying to devalue your opinion. They're trying to make you become irrelevant. They're just trying to stomp on you. I don't think that was Andrew Neal's point. And if it was, the way you responded didn't really help. But like I said, I've been there. I won't say I responded similarly, but I didn't respond the way that I should have responded. I should have responded with more of a clear and calm tone that has all the information in it, all the facts in it, rather than kind of being defensive. So that's pretty much all I got. What say you? Do you think that Andrew Neil is a big-time leftist, a big-time liberal, and he was framing his questions in an antagonistic way because of that? Or do you think, like I showed earlier, that he won't pick a side personally and inject his own feelings into it? Now, like I said from the jump, I think he is a liberal. He'll say he's center-left, but that may be the European scale. And I'm not quite sure he'd be considered center-left in Europe either, but he definitely would not be center-left over here in the States. He'd be like a regular leftist, in my humble opinion. But is his personal opinion and his personal viewpoints the reason why this interview with Ben Shapiro went the wrong way? Or was it because Ben Shapiro was not really prepared to have an antagonistic interview? He was looking for a standard, you know, question, answer, nothing really off the top, nothing really crazy. They may have a certain opinion about you, but they ain't really trying to say it. Was he prepared for that? And then was kind of shocked by what actually happened and misunderstood what the intent was? Whatever your comments are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.